All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my rant channel, TMossBoss Rants. And in today's video, usually something like this would get uploaded onto my wrestling channel, Wrestling with TMossBoss. So yeah, for those that don't know, I do have a channel where I'm just kind of talking on just any and everything's wrestling related. But no, in today's rant, we got a rant about TKO, the company that bought WWE. So yeah, for those that don't know, if you haven't really been following wrestling, so a while back, Vince McMahon got caught up in some controversy, had to sell the business and sold it off to this company called TKO. For those that I guess need a little, educational lesson on TKO, they're the same company that owns UFC. So I don't really know too much about UFC. I have heard some things. Like I think the guy behind it, Dana White, he don't really be paying the fighters all that good and stuff. I think I had heard that through Jake Paul, So I'm not saying that Jake Paul is a reliable source, but that's where I had just heard that rumor. So I should say that much and things. But anyways, but yeah, other than that, I didn't really know too much about TKO. I didn't think that where WWE is at right now, I would have never have seen that, and I'm like, man, I've been watching WWE since 2007. So I had to say, like, I was kind of like at the tail end of the era before the PG era, which was what it was like. Was it Ruthless Aggression or was it something else? I can't remember. But, anyways, but yeah, I survived the PG era and then the post PG era where I think WWE was trying to like figure things out and kind of test the waters with things. And then, yeah, you seen where they start to get a little bit more edgier. They started to build their confidence back up. They started to become like all aspects of wrestling and not just some aspects of it. But, anyways, and then, yeah, all that controversy you had, and yeah, even the pandemic era of wrestling. But, anyways, then, yeah, all the controversy with Vince McMahon had happened. He ended up selling the company off to TKO. And if somebody were to ask me about like WWE now, like, is it worth watching or getting back into? For the talent, yes, but for the product, no. Because I just feel like that where the product is at right now. I mean, they're trying to turn it into something that it's not. And that's the thing. When I watch wrestling, I'm trying to be entertained. I'm not trying to think along the lines like, okay, I'm entertained for the moment. And then when it's like the pay-per-views, I gotta now subscribe to this. So this is what they had did. So for those, I don't know if too many people might remember that. So WWE at one point had their own streaming service called WWE Network, where it's $9.99 a month. That honestly to me seems like the dream. If they were to announce something like that in this day and age, where it's like, people are trying to save money and they're not trying to subscribe to these high end services, that WWE will make a killing off of it. For some odd, well, no. So here's what they ended up doing. Then they ended up going over to Peacock. Peacock is pretty good because I was like, they got movies, TV shows, and so there's more to watch on there than just WWE. But me personally, I don't mind just subscribing to the WWE stuff. All right. So, anyways, but yeah, they went over to Peacock for a little bit, and that was honestly the best thing because I was like, so no, it was funny how I had heard about Peacock was that so The Office was on Netflix, and then for some reason Netflix was like, oh, we're for the United States customers, we're gonna get rid. I'm like, I don't get that whole like, 'cause I feel like that there's a little bit to say about Netflix too in this rant. But anyways, they said they were going to get rid of The Office for the U.S. Customers. All right, so I guess like where is it going to go? Then they was like it's going over the Peacock. So I was like, all right, cool. Go get me a Peacock account. Got me a Peacock account. Then yeah, I think I did, but I was all like, I don't know, man. Now I gotta like try to figure out what episode I last left off on, and I mean that means I don't mind watching the show all over again. I'm like, I think I might end up doing that at some point in time because The Office was actually pretty good. So, but anyways, then that's when they announced shortly afterwards, they was like WWE is going over the Peacock. Now I got a reason to watch Peacock, and they meant like the pay-per-views. I think Raw and SmackDown might have been on there too, but anyways, but they was like no, the pay-per-views like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, all that stuff, like all of it's all going over the Peacock. You didn't have to subscribe to no Peacock. Only has like one subscription service. I don't think they got like Peacock Basic, Peacock, like Expert and Peacock Premium and all that other. They just got Peacock. All right, you subscribe once, you're good. So they might have like an ad and no ad, but either way, regardless, I don't care. So I'm like, if they got an ad, no ad, I'm like, I think that might be the only thing that they got going on Peacock. But so, anyways, I'm excited because I'm like, so all through up until that moment, the only pay-per-view that I would ever watch of WWE was WrestleMania. I might watch like the Royal Rumble. Did I ever watch SummerSlam before? I might have. I can't remember. But anyways, but yeah, for the most part, I would catch the results on Wikipedia. So after a certain amount of time, I'm like, I'll check later on that night. I'm like, oh, this wrestler won, that wrestler won, but then I'm like, I get to actually watch it now. Like I get to actually watch the pay-per-views. Excited, could not. I'm like, me as a like wrestling fan from that era of when they announced that they were going to Peacock all the way up to their last moment. I was like, this is the best possible time to be a wrestling fan. All right. So anyways, then yeah, then NXT came back, and I was like, oh yeah, WWE, they're in the perfect spot right now. Can't shake away what's going on with WWE. Drama happened. WWE gets sold off to TKO. The CEO or whoever, he's cool with ESPN. So for some odd random reason, no wrestler, no, well, yeah, probably not even the wrestlers too, but none of the fans had asked for it. They just randomly decided we're gonna have it where you guys have to watch the pay-per-views off of ESPN, but it's like this like high tier subscription service. Who just randomly is subscribed? But if you're, my thing is this, right? Let's say you just strictly watch wrestling. You don't watch football. You don't watch golf. You don't watch basketball. You don't watch hockey. You don't watch tennis. I'm trying to think of some other sports. Rugby. That frisbee one. It's like disc, something and things. I'm trying to think of some other sports. You don't watch no sports besides WWE. Were you subscribed to ESPN prior before that? You not being a sports fan, were you subscribed to ESPN prior before like the whole transition over to that platform? Because if not, you're a fan of movies, you're a fan of TV shows. That's more, I'm not going to say or disrespect sports and say that it's not watchable, but if you're not a sports fan, but you're a movie fan and a TV show fan and all that stuff, why not just have it where it's like, okay, if you are on ESPN, we're gonna have it set up where it's like, okay, instead of having to transition back and forth from apps, you now get to watch ESPN. And they could even have done that too, where it's like it's ad free if you want to watch it on ESPN. I think a lot of people still would have stayed on Peacock, but if you have ESPN, then it's like, oh, okay, well, cool. I'm like, no ads, and then I don't even have to. All I just gotta do is exit out that broadcast or whatever it is, and then just click on the WWE pay per view. Oh, okay, cool. They just completely just and no, and so prior before that, no, this is the crazy thing. So they did this whole thing talking about prior before they did the move to ESPN. They did this whole thing where they was all like, "Oh, we're Monday Night Raw is going to be going to Netflix." So for those that don't know, Monday Night Raw doesn't come on the USA Network no more. It's just strictly on Netflix. So I was like, "Oh," so I'm like, they must be, people have Netflix, people have Peacock, people have those streaming services. But I feel like probably the number one streaming service out right now is Netflix. Everybody has Netflix, or at least they know somebody that has Netflix. But my thing is this, right? So you make that announcement, you have people believing that, oh, so all everything's gonna be going over to Netflix, because that's what I was thinking when they said that Monday Night Raw was gonna be going to Netflix. I'm like, well, I have Netflix, so I'm not tripping about it. But I'm like, that's probably where all the pay-per-views are gonna be going to next. Nope. They just out of nowhere just decided. And that's the thing. So you can still watch pay-per-views on Peacock, and then you can, or so not actually, it's Saturday night main event. So they have WWE on Peacock, Netflix, and ESPN. Why not just have it on one platform? And probably the most sold platform, or the one that's going to more people are going to be subscribed to it, is Netflix. Hold on for 1 second. I just need to see how many people are subscribed to Netflix and how many people are subscribed to ESPN. How many people are subscribed to Netflix? Over 325 million. How many people are subscribed to ESPN? Maybe it might be more. I don't know. Holds. And so in the US, because that's where they was like, where mainly people are going to be watching the pay-per-views and stuff. Well, because yeah, so they have it set up where if you live overseas, you can watch the pay-per-views on Netflix, but if you live in the United States, you got to watch it on the ESPN network. 25 million. Now, I don't know if it's a contract thing where it's like, oh, it was more money being so, but I'm like, you have to think long term. You'll make more money on Netflix, okay? So I still to this day don't understand why they did that move. But yeah, I was like, I saw that and I'm thinking to myself, and I remember seeing that before, how there's more users on Netflix than there is ESPN. And I'm thinking to myself, WWE. So let's just put this in perspective, right? Would you hold WrestleMania I'm trying to think of what was that one WrestleMania where they had the like it was like 90 something thousand. I think wasn't that like WrestleMania 25, I think. I think that was like the one that was before they were doing like them 2 night events attendance. No, that might not been it. Was it 24 attendance, 74, 72, 72, 71, 78. Which one was it where they had like it was like whatchamacallit, like was it 20 three maybe? Cause I don't know which one it was where they had like it was like 90 something thousand people that was there. Okay, they got one there was like 80,000, let's see, 64,000. Which one was it where they had like 90 something thousand people there and they was like, "Oh, it's the most yeah, there was that one where they had they did it at the Performance Center WrestleMania. It was one of those WrestleManias. I can't remember which one. It wasn't dang, so it wasn't 25. It wasn't 24, 23, maybe 74, 17,000 people at WrestleMania 22. Dang, what was wrong with that WrestleMania? Where did that take place at? Rosemont, Illinois. They ain't never went back there again. That's crazy. There was only 20 some thousand people at WrestleMania 21. I like that WrestleMania. That WrestleMania was pretty it was pretty decent. Dang. There was like these WrestleManias, they were kind of weak back in the day. I can't remember what WrestleMania it was, but I felt like there was one. What hold on for a second. What Wrestle Mania had 90 thousand people there. Let's just see. Because I was like WrestleMania 3, crowd of 93,000 fans. Was it WrestleMania 3? Attendance records. New Japan 165. WrestleMania 32, 80,000. SummerSlam. Hold on for a second. Let's just see. So it was, I don't know why I thought there was a WrestleMania that had like 90 something thousand people that was there. But they said the most attendance at a WrestleMania was WrestleMania 32 back in 2016 with 80,000 people that was there in attendance. Okay. So you had 80 something thousand people that was there at attendance, and I think yeah, and then let's say so, and what wrestle where was that at? They said that was in Arlington, Texas at the AT&T stadium. So that stadium 80 something thousand, and then let's just say it's just some like random town where barely nobody is there, right? Would you hold the WrestleMania there where it's guaranteed that maybe a classroom might show up there? Yeah, it's a step up from that WrestleMania that you guys had to do at the performance. You know what? Let's just use that WrestleMania for an example. Performance Center WrestleMania or that WrestleMania 32. Which guys would you say was the WrestleMania where the most customers was at? WrestleMania 32, of course. But because of that, you know, the pandemic and all that. So even if you want to go and use one of the other WrestleManias, still those WrestleManias didn't have no 80 something thousand. Now there might have been some they had like 70 something thousand and all that stuff, but that's your guys. It's like that's the one WrestleMania where you had the most people at, right? Why would you go and pick a location where, yeah, let's just say WrestleMania 22, where you only had like 15, 16,000 people that are there? Would you rather do that again, or would you rather have the 80 something thousand? Yeah, I guess you don't have to worry about a whole lot of people, but at the same time, you're trying to make money. Are you gonna make more money off of 16,000 people or 80,000 people? Let's just sit down and think about that math question real quick. But if you know simplified math, if you know that one number is higher than the other, why would you go to ESPN? That's the thing that just trips me out about well, you know what? The thing is this. It's not WWE's fault. It's TKO's fault because you're trying to turn this into a business that doesn't even need to exist. You know, and that's the thing where it's like what you're doing is just going to cause more people to leave the product rather than investing. Because I refuse to subscribe to ESPN. I'm like, no, the thing is this. I'll figure out my ways of watching it. Or if yeah, if there's ever a time where somebody they get ESPN and then they're all like, hey, you want the you know, the code to watch whatever and stuff, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Then I'm like, thank God for, you know, people like that, friends, family, whoever. But to subscribe out of my own money and I'm trying to save, and I was doing perfectly fine with Peacock, but now the price got to go up just for what, having it where Goldberg is having his final wrestling match, or let's say I'm trying to think of some other like random matches that they had. Roman Reigns going up against, I'm trying to think of somebody that's like, it ain't Tozawa, no, and there's no disrespect to him. Actually, I think I would rather watch that and stuff. No, that might be a good match, to see how that would have went down and things. But I'm just saying, it's like, you got like the main event stuff where that was like where WWE was at one point. And you gotta sit down and think that one WrestleMania where it was, yeah, I think it was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, but they like everybody got involved. The Rock got involved, John Cena got involved, the Usos got involved. What else? Undertaker, like everybody was getting involved. That was your guys is probably your best WrestleMania. Now that might not been I think because they always now they be liking to have like 2 day events and they try to add all those numbers together. I'm like, fam, it's the same people that's showing up. It ain't like, oh, there's one set of people showing up one day and another set of people showing up the next day. I'm pretty sure that both sets it's the same set of people. Okay, so that's why I'm like, I don't be really believing in them attendance and things. It's the same attendance. So, but anyways, but yeah, it's like where WWE is at right now, it's like TKO. You guys, that where it's at right now, it's not where it used to be at some time ago. And you guys, like, really just doubling down on it. Like, oh no, it's like it's best to watch it on ESPN and all this other stuff. Why not just have it where the US customers, we have Netflix. You guys allow it to come on in different countries and stuff or outside the United States. Why not just have that? And if a person wants to subscribe to ESPN, I have that option to do so. But to be forced to subscribe, I'll start watching the pay-per-views before I subscribe to ESPN. I'm like, I guess if it is on some stuff where they start, because that's how I use it or watch it is through the VPNs. So I'm like, I'm like, my thing is this: I never asked for that, So that's why I'm like, you just forcing people to do stuff they don't want to do. Don't be mad at me if I figure out another way around it. All right. So I'm like, because I guarantee and I promise you, you put anybody in TKO in my situation, they would be doing the same exact thing or just not watching it all together. So yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, TKO. It's like what they're doing with WWE right now. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It's be a fan of the product of the wrestlers, like because you seeing new and up and coming wrestlers, making a name for themselves, and you just want to see like how they grow as a wrestler. But other than that, it's like the company itself. Nah, I'm like, I'd rather just pay whatever wrestlers that work at WWE. I'm like, hey, have like a backyard wrestling match at my house. I'm like, I'd rather watch that than to be subscribed to ESPN or even if it's just some old random wrestlers and stuff. But it's like, at least I can be in that environment of like, okay, yeah, these might not be no WWE wrestlers, but I like the product. I don't like how much the product costs. Okay. So yeah, I'm like, where WWE is at right now, it's really messed up. And I'm like, yeah, and it's TKO to blame behind all of it. It's like you're trying to turn it into this like money making product. Fam, people are just trying to watch wrestling. That's it. So, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.